Saquon Barkley had an historic night Sunday night in LA in the Eagles' victory over the Rams 37-20. Rushed 26 times, 255 yards, 9.8 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. Also caught 4 balls for 47 yards. That's over 300 yards for a single individual in one game, which is an amazing, amazing feat. A joy to watch. I want to take a look at some of those runs and see how the Eagles are using their O-line plus with the talent of Saquon Barkley to do the things they're doing and probably has thrown this guy into the MVP race now. Um, the Eagles normally run a ton of inside zone. They switched it up on the Rams a little bit and did something a little different, more counter than I've seen them run. But let's take a look at these runs and see what they did to let Saquon do what he do when he do what he does. Welcome back to Sip the Tally Films. All right, welcome back, and let's get into this Saquon film versus the Rams. And the Rams have been playing some pretty good defense. They hit on 2 young defensive linemen last year in the draft, who led the rookies in sacks. They've hit on 2 young defensive linemen this year. So their D-line is good. They're young, but they're good. But the Eagles have probably the second best O-line in the NFL behind the Detroit Lions. And they got an explosive runner like the Detroit Lions as well. And I think last night just kind of put him in the MVP race. And this is counter, which they don't run a lot of. They don't run a lot of counter. And so Saquon has all the tools you want in the back. Vision, speed, burst, the ability to get skinny. He's a home run hitter every time he touches the ball. So you want to get him as many touches as possible. Good job of logging by Mekhi Becton, somebody who was actually a free agent when the season started and was available. And he ended up with the Eagles. But what happens is Jared Verse tries to condense down with the tight end on his backside end. Mekhi Becton realizes it. Instead of kicking him out, he just gets to that outside shoulder. So when a log happens, if you don't know, the 2 people behind the logger have to identify ASAP. That means this tight end back here that's pulling with Becton has to notice it, and Saquon has to notice it. And they got to, in turn, instead of kicking it and running it up in there, they're going to have to bounce this thing outside because he's going to get locked down. So what's going to happen is the tight end is either going to hit Cameron Curl, who shows up first, or 56. Whichever blue shirt shows up first, that's who the tight end has to get to because Becton is going to kind of basically hook Jared Verse. There's a hook on the outside shoulder. 56 is inside, so there's no need to block him. Tight end should get up on Cameron Curl, which it does, and there's the split. There's the split right there. Saquon don't miss it. Stick that foot in the ground right there and get vertical. And all those yards later, touchdown. Not mistaken, 72 yards. Yeah, about 72 yards. Let's take a look at some of the regular runs and see how they do it on a regular basis. And remember, Philadelphia is normally an inside zone team. They did a few things different that I normally don't see out of them. Look at that move. And it's crazy because stuff don't have to be blocked right for Saquon for him to make something happen. Like this right here. Like the hole is to our right, his left, and he's not even heading in that direction. But because of the jam that 97 creates and 95, then you got 2 backers there too with 14 trying to come. His athletic ability. Gets away from it, sees it at the last minute, but it starts to close down. Look at that. And it's barely touched. If not for 26 coming down the alley, coming down the pipe right here, he makes a big run out of this. Athletic ability is crazy. That backwards leap was just nuts. That was nuts. Got him in the shotgun here on the hip. And this is what they normally do. Kind of inside zone-ish. They run inside zone, they get him downhill with his shoulder square so he can find the hole. And the Eagles O-line do a great job of putting a hat on a hat. Do a great job of hat on a hat. Hat on a hat. 69 she'll come off the backer. Look at that agility, man. Look at him cut behind Becton. 1 foot. He jumps. How does he get out of this? He's basically in the backside A gap and bounces it outside right. Vision, athletic ability, and then has the wherewithal to stay on his feet and get about 11 yards. Come with the next one. Run a little counter, which is, again, was a shocker to me. Same thing. Now, it's not as apparent, this log, but still ends up on the same thing. Becton gets on the outside shoulder. The tight end picks up the first thing that's a different color. And who is that? Receiver out there blocking, I think that's Jahan Dotson. And they pick up about 8 or 9 yards. Well, no. Yeah, about 9 yards. Again, they're normally an inside run team. If you got access to like sites that give you the metrics of like how much run zone and gap stuff they do, normally they're a zone team. Like this right here. Just get skin and be patient. Patience is one of the things I forgot to mention when I was talking about his attributes. Run the inside zone, keep his shoulder square, just patient. Just patient. 69 should have already come off to that backer that's leaking in that hole right there. But he waits. Saquon waits. Lets it happen. Bam. And just hit it. Got skinny. Put 2 hands on the ball. And hit it. Now, I didn't say patience at the beginning when I was talking about his attributes, but that's a perfect example of it right there. Because he could have ran down the back and he ran right into this tackle. Just patience. Patience. Let it happen. Let it develop. Let it develop. Then hit it. Slow two. Explode through. That's the coaching point. Slow to, explode through. And I think I have never seen them do this. Straight outside zone. I've seen them do it different ways, but I've never just seen them in a pistol and just hand it off like this. Now, granted, I don't watch every Eagles game, but most of the time when I do watch it, it's inside zone. Look at the vision on the cutback. Perfectly blocked on the left side. And you got your 2 backside blockers just trying to split the defense. And if you don't know, when you run a zone, you're just looking for a split in the defense somewhere. And they do a good job of doing it. Because this guy right here turns that back. These guys on the front side do their job. And the defense is split right there where I have those bars at. He sees it, sticks his foot in the ground already. Let clean up by the tight end on Jared Verse. And look at the gap. Hell, I can get 4 yards on that. Just don't touch me. Then we'll end on this one right here. And just an amazing runner, man. This one, the outside zone again. Patience. Understanding where it's going to pop. Saw the bulge, saw the gap. All you got to do is wait on 69 to come off, get the hat on the hat. Now, I got to finish this run. There's nobody there to touch me. The defense is split. Got a hat on a hat everywhere. A hat on a hat everywhere. Whoop. Then you forget about his agility. 1, 2, jump cut. This dude, man. 255 yards. 47 yards receiving. Over 300 yards by one individual. An amazing and historic night for Saquon Barkley, who's now the league leader in rushing and probably has entered the MVP race. But that's Saquon Barkley and his big night versus the Los Angeles Rams as they beat them in L.A. on Sunday Night Football. I appreciate y'all for coming out, man. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me. And remember the motto, FTMF. This is film, then more film, and I'll see y'all soon, man. Peace and love.